We are back in open session and returning to the top of the agenda. Go through, I did promise public comment. This is the period in the meeting where we invite people from the public to address the building committee. If you have any questions or comments, nothing that we can address under the open meeting law at this particular meeting, but certainly something that we can consider for any future discussions. If there is anybody who wishes to address the committee, you'll have a couple minutes. You can click the raise hand button at the top of your screen to the right. Is there anybody?
While we wait, I'll just take the second to mention Smack. If you would like to restart your recording, if you haven't already, you can record the meeting yourself. I'm still taking a separate recording, but you can go ahead and do that. Thank you.
Another call if anybody has any public comments. Going once. Twice. Great. Move on. If you do see anybody who clicks in a couple minutes for the next couple minutes though, Eric, just give me a heads up because I did see some people who I think Lori might want to.
Yeah, here, we'll give her a chance.
Anybody else for public comments? Hearing none. We'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, acceptance of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes.
Yeah, we have, if you count, 2 of them are for the selection subcommittee and one of them is the executive session minutes. However we want to handle, if we want to approve those now, if the members of the...
Well, so the executive session would be for the CM selection committee?
Yes, correct. So it's, there's 2 separate minutes for that meeting.
Why don't we hold that? Right. Hold the regular and executive session. If there's no objection, we'll hold that to next meeting. And is there a motion does everybody review the minutes of July 9th? And does anybody have any questions, comments, changes? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes of July 9th?
Motion to approve the minutes of July 9th.
And a second.
Second.
Len and Katie, thank you.
All right, I have to do this again. All right, motion made, seconded, no further discussion. I'll call the roll. Joe Baeta.
Abstain.
Joe Buckley.
Aye.
Fred Brugnetti.
Aye.
Tom Coulter, Steve Cavey, Jillian DeStefano, Diane Dolan.
Abstain.
Jake Dorr.
Here for yourself. Here says if you cut taxes to the rich. So, okay.
Yeah. Jake, you here? Leo Fay, Sandra Gopi.
They can't.
Abstain.
Greg Horsfall.
Jay, ask you guys who's supposed to be this out.
Lynn Jordan, Melissa Lynn Jordan. Lynn.
Sorry about that. Aye.
No worries. Melissa Lynch.
Aye.
Julie Miller.
Aye.
Katie Monahan.
Aye.
Anne Marie Raymond. TJ Recupero votes aye. Dennis Rigo.
Aye.
Mark Tisdale. Joel Wolk. And Pat Yanukovsky.
Aye.
Great.
Wow.
Okay, thank you all. Item 4 on the agenda, invoice approval. We have 2 invoices and both invoices have expenses attached to them. All right, Fran?
Yes,
Did you want to take this?
Yeah, we reviewed the invoices and we made a recommendation to move forward and process the invoices on the next warrant.
So that would be Vertex invoice number 119-33 for $47,279.50. And DRA invoice number 18 for $351,030.18 for a total of $398,309.68. Is there a motion to recommend approval per the recommendation of the financial subcommittee?
So moved.
Second by Adam.
Any further and all the backup? Do you want to go through anything, Eric, or does anybody need? The invoice package was attached to the Eric's email. If you have any questions, I know that the expenses, one was Geotech and the other Vertex reimbursable $654.50. I don't know what that. It was relatively small amount though, but
Project.
Yeah. Why don't I show it quickly? I'll
Yeah.
just,
yeah, why don't we?
So the first, first I'll ask, can everyone
Yes.
see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So the first Vertex invoice is our monthly invoice for basic services. The second is the Project Dog RFP invoice for $654.50. The first DRA invoice is their design development basic services. And the second is the Geotech invoice, which I will have Courtney give a brief summary.
This is within our appropriate allowance for geotech. It's associated with borings and test pits that were done end of June and into the early July. We expect a full comprehensive report on the geotech towards the end of this month. But that just so you guys know, we did do preliminary work for the SD design, and this is basically due to budgetary concerns. We went up there in design development to save money during this SD phase. We did our second round. So we do different types of geotech under the foundations of the building, making sure our engineers can design appropriately, as well as areas where we have to look at infiltration and stormwater design.
Thank you, Courtney. Does anybody have any questions? I can flash the
Yeah, I
this
have
was
one.
the Project Dog invoice. TJ?
Did the geotech work include the two, Fano Drive and the two lots that we're picking up from in the land swap with I forget the DAT LLC?
We did some soil testing in those areas, but we didn't do soil borings in those areas. We don't have structural infiltration chambers that are going in that area, so we're really looking at infiltration at that point. Those they're supposed to be low impact design over there versus a structural stormwater storage.
How much field work generally is needed between geotech, wetlands, survey, and is that all close to done?
So wetlands should be done as part of this DD phase. They did take care of those additional parcels as part of this. Survey should be done. We've taken care of Fano and those 3 additional parcels. As of now, we don't anticipate any additional soil borings for geotech, but if there were structures that were going to have to be designed, or if there were any changes, we would want them to go back out there and make those adjustments. But right now,
there may be one additional little bit of survey too, TJ. In our design, we'll talk about it in our design update, but we are trying to save sort of groups of existing trees, in large swaths, which we can kind of circle on a site plan. But to actually be precise about it, sometimes we ask our surveyors to go back out there and identify specific trees in a certain zone, anything over certain caliper, that we'd really care about. Is it on this side of the line or that side of the line to save it? So there might be a little more survey before we're done.
Okay. So that was as much as for the neighbors as anything else, and I could have saved that for later in the meeting, but well, it was across my mind. Thank you on that.
Okay.
So there was a motion made, seconded. Is there any further discussion on the invoices submitted? Questions? If not, I'm gonna run through this again. Okay, great.
Sorry, great, actually.
Okay.
Calling the roll, Dr. Baeta,
Aye.
Joe Buckley,
Aye.
Fred Bernetti,
Aye.
Tom Coulter, Steve Cavey, Jillian DeStefano, Diane Dolan,
Aye.
Jake Dorr,
Yeah.
Leo Fay, Sandra Gropey,
Aye.
Craig Horsfall, Lynn Jordan,
Aye.
Melissa Lynch,
Aye.
Julie Miller,
Aye.
Katie Monahan,
Aye.
Anne Marie Raymond, TJ Recupero votes aye, Dennis Rego,
Aye.
Mark Tisdale, Joe Woke, and Pat Yanikowski.
Aye.
Great.
PJ, I have a proposal that I was gonna add to new business unless you think it would be more appropriate to do it now, for the appraisal company.
Oh, actually, you're right. You would flag that for me. Why don't we do that now? Because it's probably more appropriate now.
Okay. Okay. Can everyone see my screen here?
Yes,
Perfect.
Yes.
So I sent this around earlier.
maybe a little bigger, Eric. Not sure if it's showing small on my screen, but
You know what I did? I tried to keep my minutes going on half my
Oh.
screen.
all right, keep going.
Is that a little better?
Yep.
Perfect. So, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to read this, but essentially, we're gonna have the appraisal company come and survey the plots that were be involved in the land swap at hopefully the next town meeting. The total with a 10% Vertex markup comes out to $6,875. So we will be asking for a contract amendment in the amount of $6,875 if there is no issue from the committee. Does anybody have any questions about the process or the proposal?
No, that seems to be a pretty good price for an appraisal of two properties. My opinion only. So
Great.
do you need a motion on that, Eric?
We do need a motion on that.
All right, the motion would be to authorize you to go forward per the appraisal, per the proposal from Appraisal Company of New England at the price stated.
Yes, and an amendment to the Vertex contract in the amount of $6,875.
Great.
We'll move.
Is there a number attached to that amendment? Is that amendment 2?
Amendment 3.
3?
Yeah, that will be amendment 3.
All right, motion made by Dr. Baeta. Is there a second?
Second.
There are about 8 seconds that came in.
Oh.
Was that Diane for the second?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think this is the last one that I have to do of this outside of adjournment. So if you'll bear with me one more time, I think this should be the 6th, 7th time I run through this. So when you hear your name, if you could vote aye or nay, Dr. Baeta,
Aye.
Joe Buckley,
Aye.
Fran Brunitti,
Aye.
Tom Coulter, Steve Cavey, Diane, Jillian Stefano, Diane Dolan,
Aye.
Jake Dorr,
Yeah.
Leo Fay, Sandra Gropey,
Aye.
Craig Bushfall, Lynn Jarden,
Aye.
Melissa Lynch,
Aye.
Julie Miller,
Aye.
Katie Monahan,
Aye.
Anne Marie Raymond, TJ Recupero, aye. Dennis Rego,
Aye.
Mark Tisdale, Joe Wolk, and Pat Yanikowski.
Aye.
And I think that, just so everyone knows the timeline on that, Eric, if I remember, he said like mid-September. Is that right?
That was correct.
Right. So now moving to item 5, CM selection update and vote to proceed with CM selection. I forgot we did have one other big vote. Eric, Brian, Tim, you want to take this?
Sure. Brian, you got it?
Yep, I'll start it. So the CM at risk interviews were last Wednesday, August 13th. We started at 5 p.m. and we interviewed the 3 RFPs by the selection committee was Consigli, Gilbane, and W.T. Rich. The pre-qualification committee consisted of 12 members. And the committee adjourned after the meeting and we ranked the 3 CMs with the ranking will be W.T. Rich was number 1, Consigli number 2, and Gilbane number 3.
So the motion that we're looking for, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the motion would be to accept the recommendation of the CM selection committee ranking the candidates, number 1, W.T. Rich, number 2, Consigli, and number 3, Gilbane, in that order, and to authorize Vertex to engage in negotiations with the number 1 candidate and number 2, number 3, in that order.
Yeah.
Based on those negotiations.
That would be correct, yes.
Okay. Is there, we can go into discussion afterwards, but is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, so we can, why don't I just start off if there's any discussion from the committee members. So for my own part, I was one of the several members of the building committee, along with representatives from DRA and Vertex, and also someone from the town was on the CM selection committee. All 3 candidates, and I was told this beforehand, but after the presentations, I was assured of this through my own eyes, is that they were all, I could have voted for any one of them and been satisfied because they were all very well qualified and very well engaged. And I can say I went in with my own sort of bias, thinking, familiarity wise. And I don't ask that everybody else state why they voted, but I can tell you I voted for in the order presented, W.T. Rich, Consigli, and Gilbane, and I was really, I had to be won over by W.T. Rich because Consigli, in my mind, set such a high standard on the high school project that, and frankly, they have a high standard to meet throughout the project. So, but I was excited by their presentation, the energy they brought, and their proposal. And I should also note, and you can augment this, however, Brian, is that this was not based on price at all. This was based solely on their presentations and their proposals that they submitted. So that's for my own part as a member of the CM selection committee, how I voted and why. I don't know if anybody else wants to justify it, I just wanted to give that to the members of the building committee who weren't present and didn't see the interviews. They were all very well qualified and all the presentations were excellent. So that's me and my part.
What about this stage?
TJ, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I guess I want to know how the votes went. In other words, White, is that the one that won the, how
W.T.
far
Ritz.
off was he from the second or the third?
Yeah, I could, well, I could just say, Diane, is that there were 9 members ranked W.T. Rich first, and 3 members voted Consigli first,
Okay, thank you.
if that helps, yeah.
I would love to hear for someone who did rank this construction company number one, what, I don't want to say swayed them, but what was the deciding factor?
Well, I voted for Consigli first, Diane, and W.T. Rich second. And for me, Consigli, in my opinion, is a clear front runner. They have a proven track record, and they have a proven track record with Stoughton, and they have a proven track record with Stoughton, Vertex, and DRA. Our project was hugely successful. It came in on time and under budget. Consigli has more experience with timber. They have more experience with geothermal wells. They proposed completing the project by May 1st. Our W.T. Rich originally in their proposal, in their paper proposal, proposed turning the project over July 1st. That's a huge difference. I know from moving the high school building that we needed every single day from the time the project was turned over to the time we moved in to get that building ready. And we were only walking across a parking lot, not driving a couple of miles down or closing 2 schools.
I do remember that.
Yeah. The one thing I think W.T. Rich did propose in their proposal that they would stick around for 2 years after construction to help with managing and making sure things are okay. That was missing from Consigli's presentation. However, after working with Consigli for so many years, even now they still are around answering my calls, Dennis's emails, finding out whatever we need. They replaced the scoreboard for us at no expense to us 5 years after the project ended. So I know that they would stick around too. They also had a great construction plan, in my opinion, where they completely thought about our neighbors, taking traffic off of Park Street, putting a traffic light, temporary. And so I thought that they were a clear front runner. So I voted for Consigli.
Thanks, Julie. So I guess I ask you, TJ, what swayed you from Consigli because you've dealt with them twice?
Well, I've heard 2 proposals. I don't mind saying I went in biased for Consigli because of familiarity. And I liked, so the W.T. Rich was unknown to me whatsoever. I thought the proposals were close enough. Generally, they had quite a bit of experience building elementary schools particularly, but that's probably because they're a little smaller company, if I'm correct about that.
Yep, they do all public work, only public work.
They're only public work. Their team had a lot of energy. They had a really nice proposal. I wasn't swayed by it, but they had a really slick animation. I made a point to say that I didn't want to seem like I was swayed solely by the animation, but it was pretty slick. But they seemed to have an enthusiasm about building schools and how can I say this? Consigli, of course, and Gilbane for that matter, they have a ton of experience building schools. I just thought, given the sort of tortured history, if I can put of this project, how it took us to get to this point. I like the idea of having a firm that was, given that they were all qualified to do this, work, and Consigli had the familiarity for sure. They also had a really nice proposal when it came to community engagement. And I thought that the community engagement proposal that they offered, and the energy of their team, it just gave me a good feeling like I could have voted for any of them, and I went with them. No, honestly, it could have been a coin flip for me because I liked all of the firms, and I listed out during the subcommittee meeting why I liked all of the firms. So at that point it was, and we still have to negotiate a contract with them. Hopefully they come in the price range that we're targeting, or that we hope to target, I should say, because we haven't targeted anything for sure. But
no.
So
I don't want to interrupt you, but
yeah, no, go ahead.
What have they done local? Have they done anything local by us that we could actually call and speak to people?
I can speak to that.
Okay.
So they did the renovation at Norton High School when I was superintendent, a 5-phase renovation addition. And they also did Southeastern Regional. Those have been their last 2 bigger renovation projects that they've done. And then predominantly they're at the, quote, the elementary level.
Yeah, and they have good references on those too. I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to interrupt, but.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Consigli's are very strong. I put it in the order that's been announced, W.T. Rich, Consigli. Like Julie, I had a positive relationship for 2.5 years with W.T. Rich. Julie had it with Consigli. In both cases, different projects, but people are happy with what we know and what we saw and what we deal with. Recognizing the high school project was very successful, like any project, there's a lot of hiccups that also take place. I haven't worked in a project, renovation, addition, or new, a roof or an HVAC system where there hasn't been hiccups at some point due to manufacturing timelines and all that stuff. What sold me on W.T. Rich, and I announced it to the group that I had worked with them, really was part one. They really do go after elementary projects, and number two, and they have a history of on time and in budget. Number two, they deal with the public sector. If MSBA went away tomorrow, W.T. Rich would have to figure out who they'd be dealing with, because they do a lot of those types of projects. I guess for me, at the end of the day, it was the sales pitch. I felt like I was in corporate America with one, and I felt like I was closer to something that's smaller and more genuine with the other. That's what it came down to for me. So I don't think there's a wrong answer in who we pick. I'm just going to be a taxpayer and support it by the time this kicks off. So, my vote doesn't really carry. But there were 8 other people that voted that way.
Thanks, Joe.
Pat?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to direct a question to Joe Buckley or any of the other subcommittee members, but particularly to Joe. He liked Consigli's plan to deal with tariffs, and this is something I'm concerned with. Could Joe elaborate on that, please?
Sure. I don't remember the specifics of their plan, but they recognize the potential impact that the tariffs might have, and we're planning on adjusting their processes and procedures to kind of accommodate for that. They weren't very specific, but I just like the fact that they had it under consideration.
Okay, thanks. And could you talk about mass timber experience?
The contractor's experience.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, so.
Well, all three of them had good mass timber experience. I think Consigli probably had the most. But all three of them had fairly significant experience. So, in addition, all three of them, the other more sophisticated system here is going to be the, I think the groundwater heat pump system. They all three had experience with geothermal. So to TJ's point, there isn't a bad choice here. It's this comes down to a judgment call and you know, more subjective than objective. With my MSBA experience, all three of these contractors have a ton of school experience across Massachusetts and elsewhere. But like TJ said, there wasn't a bad one on the lot. So no matter how this comes out, we're gonna win.
Okay, thanks a lot, Joe and Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Hearing none, so the motion again is to accept the recommendation of the CM Selection Committee and the ranking of W.T. Rich, Consigli, and Gilbane in that order, and to authorize Vertex to engage in contract negotiations with W.T. Rich per the recommendation and the vote of this committee. Is there a motion? Well, we did have a motion to that effect, and it was seconded. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, I'm gonna run through the roll for the penultimate time. Dr. Baeta?
Aye.
Joe Buckley?
Aye.
Fran Brunetti?
Aye.
Tom Coulter, Steve Cavey, Jillian DeStefano, Diane Dolan,
Aye.
Jake Dorr,
Aye.
Leo Fay, Sandra Gropey,
Aye.
Craig Horsfall, Lynn Jordan,
Aye.
Melissa Lynch,
Aye.
Julie Miller,
No.
Katie Monahan,
Aye.
Anne-Marie Raymond, TJ Recupero votes aye, Dennis Rego,
Aye.
Mark Tisdale, Joe Wolk, and Pat Yanukovsky.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 11-2. Right. Vertex out of it. So when what's the timeline on negotiations with W.T. Rich such that if something can't be worked out, we move to number 2 on the list?
It was
Generally, I don't mean
Yeah, that's maybe Tim can back me up, but I think, immediately following this meeting, we will reach out and find a time that works, and I would think hopefully within, you think a week is appropriate, Tim?
I would expect that's probably right around that.
Yeah.
okay.
And as stated before, if for some reason terms could not be agreed upon, we would then move on to the second place firm.
And the contract language, do we have that settled with town council, or do we need to?
We've received comments from town council, which I'm in the process of updating the CM at Risk agreement and the general conditions where applicable. We also have a couple comments from the top ranked firm that have been noted in their proposal. So I will we'll address those accordingly, confirm with town council, and then we'll make sure everyone is in agreement when it comes to execution of the contract.
Okay. And final point, do we have their proposals that they gave to us to the CM selection committee in PDF form for the full building? Maybe you sent that out and I didn't see it.
I will confirm that that everyone has the proposals. And actually, one of the next things that I was going to present before the end of the meeting is the new SBC
the
client
SharePoint
portal.
Got it.
That's
Okay.
maybe that's a good place to put them, and that can be a test run.
Good point. Okay. All right. So now we get to talk about a school.
Now you just build it.
Item 6, design updates.
And that might be, I don't know if we have any additional design updates that haven't been discussed already. I actually had sent in a revised agenda with the executive session. Courtney and Carl, do you guys have any additional design updates?
We can briefly run through those if folks would like
We were
to.
just going to summarize the various user group meetings we've had in addition to security for the full committee, for those who weren't part of the working group and or user groups.
Great. Yeah, please.
Yep.
So yeah, since we last met, we've been meeting with the working group almost every week. It seems in August, bi-weekly, I think before that, but and then in addition, that's the blue line, the working group meetings there, and then the green line at the bottom, user group, are primarily Jake and Katie as the principals, but others joined as appropriate to talk about very specific kind of aspects of the design, getting into fairly detailed kind of areas. And so just you can see the variety and the number of meetings that we've had. And so all of that input is now incorporating or being incorporated into the design development drawings that will be going to the cost estimators. In our schedule is to deliver those next week. So the CM selection is timely, and this meeting with security and all is timely too, so we can incorporate all of that information into the set. So you can go through them quickly, Courtney, if you want to advance. So certainly one of the things we recapped, and Dennis Rigo joined us for this one, of course, too, about materials, both inside and outside. And the high level sort of summary is very little has changed in our proposal here and from schematic design. So we have shared a lot of this with you previously as to what the primary materials are on the floors, the walls, the ceilings, throughout the building, on the inside and on the outside. So unless there's some specific questions, we can just share very quickly what we shared with the working groups and with the user groups. And by the way, the colors being shown here are more for kind of a sense of what's available in those materials. We are not picking colors at this time. That's not necessarily part of the design development phase. There will be time for that as we move forward, and there'll be a need to have a specific color committee. But with this, we're just showing, given the materials like linoleum on the floor, as to what colors are available in those materials.
Carl,
yes, TJ.
So I took from the working group discussion that all of the material choices seem to be very similar to what we have in the high school. Is that correct?
They are for the most part. I think I'm trying to think of any significant differences. We might have had
there-
quarry tile in the kitchen at the
Right.
high school, but now we're recommending, as we do in a lot of our projects, epoxy flooring in kitchen floors, as well as toilet room floors too, in some cases. But I think they are virtually the same, so people have a good feel for it. They know what it takes to maintain. They can see how it's held up, at least for the first several years. But they are chosen, for both longevity, for durability, for environmental reasons too. Things that don't require a lot of harsh chemicals to clean, or to wax, for instance, on flooring, those sorts of issues.
Yeah, the other big difference is probably, the areas where we do have timber, we have acoustic DLT sealing, which is your structural system, but also your sealing, your acoustic absorption, and your finish condition.
Right, in those key areas of the building where the wood ceiling and wood structure is exposed, is unique to this school from the high school. And just to share in the classrooms too, we went over and confirmed the amount of storage, the amount what's called casework, that those shelving and cabinets that are built into every classroom. There's a good amount of storage on basically 2 full walls. The wall you see in this rendering, which is the class corridor side of the classroom, and the entrance side, and under the windows on the opposite wall will be full wall of storage shelving as well. So we confirmed that with the users. We looked at high visibility spaces like the Learning Commons and cafeteria too. Again, we sort of showed furniture or potential layouts in these drawings. That's not part of the construction. So it's not part of the construction cost estimate at this point in time, but we did want to, show how these spaces could potentially be laid out. But again, we'll spend some time down the road talking about furniture selection and layouts. But for now, we were able to use these diagrams. And again, looking at very specific high visibility areas like the learning stair, or as you come in, basically the sequence of how materials in the vestibule, the immediate area inside the building as you walk in with dirty shoes or wet shoes or snowy shoes, whatever, that we have very durable, easily clean materials in those areas, and then very durable materials like rubber tiles on the pedestrian areas and the stair and major corridors. I think we have a rendering of the learning stair too that shows, yes, you can see there's 2 different sections there. One section is for seatings. That's a little bit softer and is a carpeted kind of material, although it's not literally carpet, but we call it resilient carpet. It's really kind of a rubberized, a flocked rubber. So it feels soft and it's quiet, but it's durable and easily cleaned, like the rubber tile that goes in the walking surface, the yellow surface of the stair there.
And that resilient carpet, the manufacturer's name is Flotex. It is in the high school and the collaboration areas for those of you that have been to the high school.
Cafeteria, likewise, multi-purpose, multi-use kind of space, needs durable, easily clean materials. So the suggestion there's proposal there's rubber tile flooring. We do have the wood ceiling down the center of that space, which is the high pop-up space that has a window, clear story window up high to bring natural light into the room. But the other sort of challenge and what is typically a very noisy space too is to control acoustics in there. So we do have some acoustic ceilings on either side of that high base space, and around the room there are acoustic panels to a high degree on the walls as well, so to absorb sound in there. And again, the colors are just to show what's possible. We're not necessarily selecting colors or patterns right now. The gym likewise, in a way is actually similar to the high school too, in the sense that it does have a wood athletic floor, which can be used not just by elementary school students, but by the community and by high school athletes as well. And the walls are concrete block in terms of structure, so good for durability in a space like the gym. But there are the wall pads down low, and then acoustic panels on all four sides, ringing the walls, again, to help with acoustics. In addition to the ceiling, even though it's exposed structure, that structural deck there is actually an acoustical deck, again, like the high school. So it's economical. We're not adding ceiling, and it's durable. It can withstand volleyballs and basketballs hitting it and all, but it does have perforations and acoustical material in it to absorb sound. One slight, if we go back to that, sorry, just one slight design update. There's been very few, many of them more subtle, but the windows in this space now, we are suggesting clear glass, not the translucent fiberglass panels known as CalWall. Because in looking at the orientation of this, it is facing basically north and northeast kind of. So there's not a lot of issues with direct sun coming in with glare, since the window is only on one side of the room. It doesn't ring the whole gymnasium. And we think it'll be a lot more pleasant with glass, and you get clear vision glass there, so you can see the sky, you get more daylight in. And it's also more compatible with the curtain wall that's over the learning commons, also in the front elevation of the school. So that's one slight change we made since schematics. Otherwise, the building is very similar, and with a lot of tweaks and coordination and detailing worked out at this phase.
We save money, Carl, because we won't have to put clouds in the gym if we can see them outside.
See the real clouds outside.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through the same sort of inventory on the exterior, and again, those of you who were fortunate enough to come to our office when we had these materials, they pretty much remain the same that we showed at that time in terms of the exterior materials. I think we have a slide, the next one, that shows the locations of them, but and again, we're not necessarily trying to be realistic about the colors here, but they're more or less diagrammatic. But there is red brick on the building on the front elevations and a few of the blank wall areas, and then down low as well around the 3-story wing, sort of classroom wings of the building. The orange toned sections here are these fiber cement panels, which are, it's a cement based, it's very durable, long lasting material, but it can be made to look, have wood tone, which is, what's important aesthetically here. With the school in the woods, we wanted something to give more of a warm wood tone on the exterior where we could, in addition to the red brick material. But typically we don't bring that material all the way down to the ground. There is a base either of masonry or of this stone masonry materials, the gray material in the rendering. And then you can see the larger areas of windows, the curtain wall over the learning commons in the front entrance and over the gym on the left. And then the classroom wings, the windows are more, let's call it strategic. We're trying to limit, from an energy point of view, how much glass is in the building, because even with triple glazing, the most, efficient glazing windows are still less efficient than an insulated solid wall in terms of energy. And so we have been careful about, how much glass there is, and but we feel it's a good balance that we've reached with the amount of glass in each classroom, as well as the amount of overall energy envelope in the building. Another development is, as we worked out the details for these entrance canopies too at at the front entrance where the scale of the building is down low, it's 1 story high, and you come in close contact, we actually are using structural wood deck there for those canopies. So when you look up, you'll see that picture where the underside of those canopies is real wood. So that's one place in the building, and it's probably a cedar or wood that can withstand, exterior. It still has roof material on the top, roofing, but on the underside, you get to see natural wood there. That's one development. Otherwise, again, the materials have remained pretty much as we've shown previously. I think we shared with you before the one adjustment on the 3rd floor roofs over the classroom areas where at one time we had more of a pop-up structurally to get a clear story window in. Now we've simplified the structure to be, to continue more or less the flat roof and introduce just sloped translucent skylights there, still bringing natural light into those corridors on the 2nd and 3rd floor, but in a more economical way. And yeah, just to mention, we still have a couple areas of vegetated roof where, particularly outside the STEM classroom on the 2nd floor, where you can walk out on the roof in a constrained area there with railings and all. You don't have access to the entire roof, but there would be roof pavers there, but it overlooks some vegetated roof over the administration wing there. And also outside the learning commons on the 3rd floor too. We're suggesting that this material, it's sedum, it's not grass, it doesn't need maintenance, you don't have to mow it, you don't have to water it, it lives on rainwater. It's sort of a natural material that we've used in other schools in this kind of installation, and it does have the same membrane roof underneath it, continuously. But it actually helps with sunlight and stormwater absorption as well. And I think that's pretty much it. What else did we have? I think that was it, Courtney, in terms of our update. Again, just to show a close-up of the building and the materials that you can see there. We call your attention the fact that we still are sort of being agnostic as to the name of this school. We just say name elementary school. We know the school committee at some point has to come up with a name for the building, but we do have a prominent place for it on this nice blank wall right near the main entrance.
We might need to own more letters though for the DD pricing set.
We might. So I think that's what we wanted to share with you, just to let you know that all those meetings happened in a timely fashion. We appreciate everyone's cooperation, and particularly the principals, Jake and Katie, who have given us a lot of time here to help complete the design development set.
It's great. Any questions from the committee?
Thank you.
And I think that
Do you have a rendering of the I was looking for it as you were flipping through, of the mass timber in the
Learning Commons?
Yeah, in the Learning Commons. There was one that I saw.
We do have ones in previous presentations, a little more detailed than this view here,
Right.
TJ.
So TJ, just in terms of schedule, we are going to be doing a DD phase rendering similar to what we did for, the high level ones in SD. We're going through the pricing set right now, getting those documents set, but we'll be working on that probably in September and have an update for you.
Okay.
Hopefully next meeting, but if not next meeting, the following one.
Yeah, the cost, the set goes to the cost estimators next week, but we continue working on the drawings through September while the cost estimators are cranking up their numbers. Hopefully nothing we do, affects the cost. If it does, we let them know. We'll have a session with them, but that's a time where we can go around and develop the renderings and the
Sure.
package for the submission to the MSBA, which will happen. It's scheduled just after the October town meeting.
It was one really nice one, and I thought it'd be nice to show the public when we talk about mass timber. But we can save that for future reference.
Well, we'll be able to not only have, still renderings, but we can have a little bit of video animation in some of these spaces too, so you get a sense of moving through it.
That's great.
Mhm.
Anybody else with questions? If not, we can move on. Item 8, SharePoint.
Great. TJ, before I do the website, would you like to, I know you were asking to talk about some additional user advisory groups. Do you want to do that before or after? Want to do that now?
We can run through that quickly. Why don't we do that?
Okay, great. So we've counted a few potential user advisory groups. I'll run through my brief list, and then if anybody has additional groups to add, you can chime in, let me know. After that, I'd like to take a quick count of people who would like to be a part of these groups, and we'll use these to schedule our future meetings accordingly. So I had, for relevant currently, any future security groups. I mean, we kind of have the school members involved that we know we need, but if anybody else would like to be a part of it, I had a separate item for tech, and I already have Diane at the top of my list. Tech and audiovisual. Also, we have traffic, FF&E, furniture, fixtures, equipment, and interiors. And then finally, last item would be sustainability and lead. So those are my 5, in addition to some of the items that we've already taken care of, like CM selection. Does anybody have any additional groups that they would like to suggest?
The color committee is always a big one too, Eric.
Yeah.
Folks dedicated to that.
Great. Color committee is on the list. Anybody else?
If I go with FF&T and interiors, probably colors also.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, we could combine that if that's agreeable.
Jeff Pickett.
I don't know if this is in the spirit of what these groups are, but a communications group maybe, just to make sure we're staying on track with getting information out.
Yes.
It's a great idea, Jeff.
Yeah. Diane.
Okay, I want to make sure I muted myself before I spoke. Eric, can you just send a list of what the individual committees are, maybe to Tom, and he can forward it off to us? Because right off the top of my head tonight, I'd like to think about a few of them.
Sure. Yeah, I'll they're gonna be in the minutes here, if
great.
if that's good enough. Okay. Pat?
Yes, I'm willing to be on the color committee and the furnishings and all that. But and also if there's any way I can help with communication, which I think could be at the top of our list. There's already stuff flying on Facebook. People are asking questions. I was stopped in the grocery store because people knew I was on the building committee. So we need to get information out there. Now, I know that the folks from the ballot question committee posted a great set of facts on Facebook, but yeah, we need to get that going. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Pat. Are there any other group selections, or would people like to start volunteering to be in these committees? Lynn?
Eric, I would like to be on the FF&E and traffic, if possible.
Perfect. Why don't I go to Diane? I'll go back to you. I have you on the tech. Do you want to also be on security and any other meeting groups?
I would think security would be high on my list as well. I'm debating about traffic and colors, but I'll let you know about those.
Perfect. Jeff?
You're muted.
You're on mute, Jeff.
Sorry, I'll be on communication. But I also just wanted to bring up in terms of timeline, might be good for us as a school district to start workshopping mascots or color schemes that we want to use for the new school before we select colors for the new building. Like for instance, if we end up going with the teal colors of the South School or the black and orange that, the Wilkins has, or some combination of the both or other colors, might be nice to incorporate those in areas like the gym and, some of the public spaces. So just to throw that out there so that we could start, thinking about that from like a timeline perspective.
Makes sense.
For the existing hands, I think I hit all you guys. Does anybody with their hand up have more to add?
Sorry, I just left mine up.
No problem. Anybody else? Not to pressure anyone. Melissa? Melissa, you're on mute. And I will send this out. There'll be plenty of time to add yourself to.
Sure. Preliminarily, FF&E and traffic, potentially communications. If you were looking for an answer before next meeting from people, then the meeting minutes will only come out a couple of days before. So I don't know that you're going to get that.
Yeah,
So
I can send this out
need to go
separate.
out ahead.
And then,
Yeah. I think that's one thing we need to do is get certain things ahead so people can respond and we can kind of tighten up some of these quicker, potentially.
I'd echo that. It's Sandra. If you send out the list and you list out like how many people you already have part of it, I'll sign up for whatever you need. I'm just kind of waiting to see what fills up and, what spaces you kind of need me to fill in.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. Jake?
Yeah, I'll be on all of them, I guess.
All of them. Perfect.
Happy to do it. I think Katie's probably going to echo that.
Yeah, I think you would be anyway, whether you like it or not.
You might have been voluntold.
I kind of
I figured, but I might as well join it.
Great. So Eric will send that out, and some of those won't come up for a little while, so we have plenty of time for you to consider them. But this was to be an entry to that discussion that I've been tardy doing. So there's nothing else on that. Back to SharePoint.
Perfect. Share my screen. All right, so this was not up yet. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Perfect. And I'll thank Melissa for the great idea that she had for having a SBC portal. So it's not a very complicated website that we've set up here, but essentially we've got like a hub. This should be hopefully a one-stop shop for a lot of the business that we take care of on a regular basis. This is a password protected portal through our server that I'll invite the entire SBC and any other members of our project team here. What we have here, when you go onto the website, this is our home page, and down the bottom, so we've got a we'll keep it updated with some nice pictures, and down here at the bottom, recent documents should be coming up. Right now, I've kind of added a lot of old stuff, so there's a lot of meeting minutes popping up right now, but when we as we move forward, the new items should come down in this populate this section, hopefully. And then if you head over to the document tab, we've got all kinds of information saved here. Up top, what I've done is I've highlighted upcoming meeting material. So what I'll do here is I'll just click on this folder for a minute as a test run, because none of you guys haven't been invited to the site just yet. I've added all of our meeting material for tonight. What I'll do is I'll recycle this every month. These will all have a living place somewhere else on the website in some of the folders below. But this should be a convenient way for you to pull up and see everything that's coming up for the next SBC meeting. Backing out, we've got some folders down here for MSBA submittals, drawings and design documents, cost estimates, project schedule, SBC minutes. This folder is something that I couldn't necessarily get rid of, that South Elementary School folder. I might be able to repurpose that. The vendor invoice packages, and then the upcoming meeting material that I showed you already, and then working group minutes. So all of these right now have current documents, and I'll add to them, but our project schedule is saved. Our cost estimates from schematic design are saved here. When we get the design estimates, I'll put those in there. And if you guys can think of anything else that you want to see on the website, I'd love the feedback. Just let me know what you want to see, and I'll make a new folder or find a place for it. Anybody have any questions about the portal?
So Eric, go ahead, TJ.
Melissa has her hand up.
First, I want to say thank you, Eric, for putting this together, because it's something that I've kind of been hoping would be one-stop shop for all of us to be able to keep up with all of the subcommittee meetings happening, and that we can just kind of go in one-stop review and not be kind of last minute about things. So that is awesome. I just want to make sure that it's pretty clear, like, obviously this is for our only internal, correct? Just our group.
Correct. This is an invitation only. So after the meeting, probably in the next day, you'll get an email that'll be an invitation to the site. So I'll send it out to the SBC group, and if anybody else from town should be on this, I can add them as well. I'll need email addresses. I obviously have everyone here. But yes, this is only invitation.
And anyone taking the lead in subcommittees will know to come here and do those updates timely, so that we kind of keep this fresh and available to people to keep up with the number of moving pieces.
Yeah, I'll add folders for those user groups that we just talked about, and any of that material will be available for everyone to see.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Jake? Residual hand? We got.
Yeah, it's just it won't go down now. Sorry. Eric.
No problem.
It's like all our other meetings. It's just permanently up.
That's okay. All right. If nothing else, I'll stop sharing my screen.
No, this was great. Thank you for doing that, Eric.
You're welcome. Happy to do it. Right.
So if there's nothing else on SharePoint, is there any other items that someone would like to bring up under new business? Hearing none. Is there a motion to? Yeah.
Sorry, really quickly. I was talking to Jeff, and I didn't know if it would potentially be helpful if, like, at the end of these meetings, starting in our in-person ones in September, that we have a couple salient points that we communicate to Jeff at the end of the meeting that can then go out publicly. Just like it might be helpful just to be like, these are the two things that we talked about today that we do want publicized, and kind of give Jeff the green light to then publicize them. So I know we had a couple conversations over the summer, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, good point.
For today, I would think that it would be the selection of the CM. If you'd like me to start drafting an announcement about that.
Yeah, and I would also say a security update that was an executive session.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important that they know that we did that.
For the sake of a little humor, Mr. Recupero, I would like to think that we have a lot of positives about being members of the FF&E committee. And I will not be one of them because I am colorblind. But for those that, it looks like that committee is going to be very, very competitive.
I won't be part of it. Anybody else? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second. This is the last time I have to do this. Dr. Baeta?
Aye.
Joe Buckley? Joe Buckley? Fran Brugnetti?
Aye.
Tom Coulter, Steve Cavey, Jillian DeStefano, Diane Dolan?
Aye.
Jake Dorr?
Aye.
Leo Fay, Sandra Gropey?
Aye.
Craig Horsfall, Lynn Jordan?
Aye.
Melissa Lynch?
Aye.
Julie Miller?
Aye.
Katie Monahan?
Aye.
Anne Marie Raymond, TJ Recupero votes aye. Dennis Rigo?
Aye.
Mark Tisdale, Joe Wolk, and Pat Yankowski.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.